Hello friends. I'm just gonna do a real chill video this day. this day. I'm hoping to get this out close to the release date of the Una and Vari book, but it already happened. I've already missed the boat on it, and I want to promote it. I want to tell you all that my new book released this week, and it is a great autumn/spooky season read, but I've been tired. I've been burned out. I keep trying to record this video and I just feel kind of blank, and I feel really bad because I haven't really been promoting the book very much. And I'm just trying to do too many things and I'm tired. And promoting a book feels like it requires a lot of like executive function that I don't really possess. So I've been struggling with that, but I did at least want to make some kind of video to say, hey, it's out. And you know, despite my personal tiredness, I am so proud of this book. And it is basically just the cute little goth vibes romance that I know I always kind of want to read at this time of year. Una and Vari were so fun to write, and as were all of their friends. It's a very friendshipy book, almost as much as it is a romance. It's a friendship book. Una and Vari both come from like my goth culture. They worship death gods and they wear all black, and they kind of have a semi like Victorians that are always in mourning kind of atmosphere to their world, because I was such a goth kid when The Nightmare Before Christmas and Addams Family and all that stuff was like the movies I was watching a million times. And that culture is kind of my homage to that sort of energy. And I have so much fun writing about them. And Una's kind of over dramatic and she reads too many gothic novels, and I had so much fun coming up with all these fictional books that she reads, like His Shrouded Bride and House of Temptations, all these books that she'll bring up to relate events that are going on in her life with things she's read in these books. Vari also has for many years worked at a bookstore and also loves books, but he is not over dramatic. He's more of a sunshiny little goth boy. Well, I shouldn't say that because he's becoming a man. As Una starts to realize in the course of the book, he's not really a boy anymore. He is a man now. Just a very sweet, cheerful man. So go read it if you want a book about cute goth romance and friendship in a semi-Victorian autumn town setting. And it also features the first movie theater in my fantasy land. And people have been asking if it is spicy or sweet, and it is a closed door romance. It is, you get a little bit of like the foreplay leading up to their first night together, but it's all very, very sweet and a little goofy. It is also a standalone. You don't need to have read any of the other Hidden Lands books to have read this one, although it is like loosely a follow-up to Doll Girl Meets Dead Guy, but since it has moved on to a new couple, you really don't have to read them in order. It's only if you're the kind of person that doesn't ever want to be spoiled on any book and always has to read things in chronological order, but I didn't really intend the Hidden Lands books to be read that way, so I say if this is the first one that has really appealed to you and is the one that you want to try first, go for it. So I very much had the book on my mind. I just haven't had a lot of energy to promote it, and I feel kind of bad because when I was promoting the potion dealers, I kind of felt like I had more free time, and I did a lot of like little artwork and comics and like TikToks and stuff for it, and I was having a good time with the promotion. Disheveled editing Lydia here. To also add that another factor in this, I think, is of course TikTok. I had a lot of decent success with my TikTok experiments over the summer and my first attempts at using TikTok to market. But now TikTok is in serious limbo. As we've known, has been coming for a while, but it seems like the deal is starting to go through, and the new 45% stake owner of TikTok will be Larry Ellison, who said, "Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on." Now, it's not like we don't know that every social media app is doing this, and it's already one reason that I didn't use Instagram that much, because I don't really trust Meta either, but I do have it. The TikTok acquisition is sounding a little more unsettling, so we'll see where all that goes. And obviously, I'm just trying to market books on it. I'm certainly not doing anything that anybody's really going to probably be overly surveilling, but there's more the principle of the thing, as well as the fact that there could be quite an exodus of the kind of people that would be the audience for my books in the first place. So that's been kind of demoralizing as far as marketing goes. Like, what do you even do anymore? And I think that's been an ongoing problem for years, as we've seen tech companies consolidate their power and wield it more as power than as just companies that allow us to communicate with each other or even just to buy things. But it's become something a little more unsettling, and that makes it harder to promote ourselves, even when we want to do it in the most easygoing, relatively wholesome way. It starts to feel like everything is a heavier decision than it needs to be. So what we do, I don't know. And then I get to this one and I'm just kind of in a different headspace, and that headspace is burnt out. Not burnt out on writing per se, but just life in general, because what happened over this summer was I kind of put everything aside to finish this book. And then I had a couple of videos do really well around the end of that book finishing time. So I kind of got a little excited and I wanted to capitalize on that and see if I could have like good channel growth. So I really poured myself into really making some good videos last month, and that seemed to work out really well. The channel did have a lot of growth, and I had quite a few videos that did much better than my videos usually do. So that was all awesome, but it also just exhausted me because, a lot of channel growth kind of it's a lot all at once. You get like a lot of people coming into the Discord, you get a lot more comments than usual, you get a lot more emails than usual, you get more sponsorship requests than usual. There was just like a lot going on. I had more sponsors than I usually have for a couple months there. And I kind of overextended myself with all of that and got behind. And then it kind of hit me as we've been getting close to the anniversary of the hurricane. That was around the time that we decided that we wanted to move back to Maryland, and we'd originally given ourselves a 2-year time frame to like sell everything and make enough money to be able to afford to move, because moving has gotten very expensive. And all that kind of just hit me at once, and I realized like if we stick to this time frame, this would be our last Christmas season to sell stuff. Like, we need to capitalize on that because sales go up a lot in November, December, and January. So I really need to get like as much up on eBay as possible. Like, I've been thinking in my head the whole time that we're moving in 2 years, so I have 2 years to list everything on eBay. But it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, you don't have 2 years to list everything on eBay. You can't list something like a week before you're moving, or even a month, to get a really good price for stuff, because we have a lot of very niche things that are not going to have a lot of buyers, but that people will pay for when you get the right buyer. Like my manga collection, we're going to want to have that stuff up on eBay for probably a good 6 months at least. So, and especially the Christmas season. So that kind of was like a sudden, oh my God, I've got to get like everything listed on eBay in the next few months if I want it to have a good chance of selling before we move, and not just be something that we have to either blow out at a really low price or take with us or just give it a goodwill. Disheveled editing Lydia here. I've had a couple of people ask me questions about eBay, so I thought I would very quickly explain my process for how I sell things on eBay, which is I look at like what's currently listed and I look at what has sold, which you can find in the sidebar of eBay when you search for something. I get an idea for like what's kind of the upper end of price that this thing sells for on eBay. And I will price it accordingly. I'll start it at like the high end. And after a couple months, I'll lower it like 5%. I put a little code in every listing so that I can search by code and I can lower the price of the listings for everything I listed in any given month at a time. So every like 6 weeks or so, I might lower the price of everything by 5%. And generally, I would expect that if I list like 10 things, a couple of them are going to sell right away, like in the first week after I list it. And then I would also expect that about half of what I list is going to sell in the first 2 months. And that about 9 out of 10 things are going to sell in the first year. And then you might have the one thing that either never sells or takes 2 years to sell and like a lot of markdowns, like the thing that really doesn't even come close to what you hoped. But generally, most things do sell, at least if you've done your research and you're listing things that like have some level of desirability. And the majority of things do sell close to that higher end price. The reason I do this is so that I am always getting like the top dollar for everything that I list. I'm patient. I'm not trying to sell things in a huge hurry. So I want to get the top price. And this is also how I would handle eBay listings at the bookstore, except for the fact that Jamie wouldn't really let me mark things down, which I really think he should have, because I did list things at a high price and like I had left wiggle room in for markdowns, but he really didn't like it when I did markdowns. So I really got to work on all that. So I've been working really hard on eBay the last couple weeks, and I fell behind on YouTube because I worked so hard on YouTube last month. And, it just basically hit me like, girl, you're doing too much. You have too many jobs going on. You're treating YouTube like, I'm treating YouTube like it is a very solid part-time job, like at least 20, if not 30 hours a week. And then there's eBay, which basically for the last few years has been another part-time job, especially since we lost our post office, because now twice a week we have to drive to this post office that's like an hour round trip, and that somehow seems like way longer than 5 minutes, which it is a lot longer than 5 minutes, but it somehow feels like the difference between 5 minutes to somewhere and 20 to 25 minutes to get somewhere is actually more like many hours. I don't know. I think it's because you can't just like pop out. Like I'll get hungry, or then we got to go get some food, and it's like we might as well run another errand while we're in town. It just kind of turns into more of a thing than when it's right in town. Oh my god, what am I even saying on this video? I'm still rambling. I'm so exhausted. So long story short, I've been trying to do 3 part-time jobs as well as keeping everything clean and cooking. And I also I'm having problems with my cats peeing outside the litter box, which I think is a mixture of Betsy is very old. She's just has bad arthritis, like in her joints, and I think she's just having trouble getting in and out of the litter box. And that happens sometimes with old cats, so I don't mind that so much. I don't think she'll probably be around that much longer. So I just got some puppy pads and I put them down like near the litter box where she was peeing, and I can change those out. But then it's like everybody else decided that they were going to copy her. And now I don't know what to do about that part. So I've been dealing with a lot of cleaning up of cat pee, and like just cat pee nightmare. And I'm trying the things, trying to clean their litter boxes like really regularly and use the enzyme cleaner and all that stuff. So far, I don't feel like I've solved the problem. And of course, just like whatever is going on with my midlife periods, hormones is just draining the life out of me. Like most of my life I've had, there's PMS. That's maybe a few days before your period where you might feel kind of crappy. And then there's maybe the first couple days of my period I might feel a little crappy, but it's like manageable. But now I'm getting a period every 23 days, and it's like every part of the cycle is PMS, but in a different way. Like there's one part that's a migraine, and there's one part that's cramps, and there's one part that's digestive problems, and one part that's tired, and or just like apathetic and sad, and crying about every stupid thing and like can't sleep. So there's like no good part of the cycle anymore. It's just like all some kind of PMS. The whole month is just bad, except sometimes I'll get like a magical couple weeks where I just feel great, really great, and then it's back to feeling like shit. And it's very hard to find doctors that know what to do about it at all, or even listen to you at all. So anyway, that's why I'm tired and I'm not doing a very good job of marketing it. And I just wanted to make this video, A, to tell you that my book is out. Please buy it. Thank you. And two, to just, you know, share the bleckier side of the creative life, because I like this channel to be a cozy, comforting, encouraging space, but I also don't like it to feel fake. And sometimes, like, you've just got too much going on. You've got too many exterior stressors. You know you need a break. And it just kind of, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to make the time to be creative, or like the mental space to be creative, because you're tired, you're dealing with health issues, you're dealing with life stuff, and that's kind of where I've been at right now. So it is my hope that if I really work on the eBay stuff hard over the next couple months, then I'll have gotten most of what we want to sell listed, and I can start to scale back on that part of it. Now, there's still the actual moving part and the packing and all of that, so it's not like I'll be completely out of the woods. I'm really hoping maybe we can get some help this time. We didn't have a lot of friends nearby in Maryland, but like maybe we can bribe some people we know with some pizzas or something. I probably won't fully feel like I can throw myself back into writing until we've moved and unpacked, and that feels like an almost insurmountable goal, if I'm being honest. But I'm still working toward it, because my philosophy is always, if you just keep working toward it, you will get there. And that does work. So I'm just going to keep at it. I'm going to keep up with YouTube, because obviously I do not want to lose the algorithms with YouTube, or start to lose too many members or anything like that. Like I need regular income, so I can't drop everything. And YouTube is currently the most lucrative part of my creative universe. But I am trying to find ways to go easy on myself. And one of them is just to take a little break from writing, which sucks. It sucks because the writing is my favorite thing. So I'm taking a little break from writing, mainly because it is the least lucrative and the biggest project out of all of them. And when I do work on it, I want it to be good, and I want it to have like the full focus of my brain. I don't want to like half-ass out any of these books because I'm just tired and I'm like, I need to get something out there. I don't want any of these books to be like that. So I'm putting them on the back burner just until the eBay stuff, the Christmas season is done, and then hopefully I can get back to them. And once we've done the move thing, I kind of want to really think more strategically about how to market the book. I was talking to one of my friends, well, the world, not, there's more than one book, but the world. Like, I really need a dedicated website that kind of shows all the books, and like you could click on like a little art gallery. You could see which ones have like spice and which ones don't, which ones are cozier versus a little more, you know, like kind of tell you like, here's where you start if you want this or that. And maybe has like a link to a little bit of world building information. I need something like that. I probably should get some kind of like logo. Dave was saying like, you know, you probably really should have like a Hidden Lands logo, some kind of branding. And I'm like, that is probably true. So there's that. I kind of want to take a minute to think about how to really like make this seem like a thing and not just this haphazard collection of whatever. So I'm thinking about all the stuff in the back of my mind and like my whole plans for it. I just need to get through some of this more immediate stuff first without completely frying my brain. So that's where I'm at. Just wanted to chat with you guys and tell you what's going on. And, you know, thank you so much for watching. And probably eventually I think I should probably start a secondary YouTube channel that is more, like I've been running this problem more and more where you guys will ask me for some really specific video. Or sometimes it's like the read aloud. Some of you guys really like those. Some of you have asked me for more Hidden Lands lore. And sometimes you've asked me for very specific writing advice. And like the algorithm hates all that stuff. So I think I probably should eventually work toward making a channel that has more like deep dives into both my world and also like my process, and like conveying like really specific, like this one's kind of the for writing and reader nerds only channel, versus this channel has more broad appeal stuff on it so that it's more attractive to sponsors and bloody bloody blah. So I've got the like all those plans going on in the back of my mind about like my strategy and how I can make this work going forward. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to chat with you about how all that is going, and just, you know, just an honest chat. I hope that your week is going well. If you do enjoy Wanted Brooding Man Tragic Past, have I even mentioned the title yet in this video? I'm terrible at marketing. Please give it a nice review, especially if you have an Amazon account. Could really use some Amazon reviews. And either way, thank you so much for watching, just being here for my little rambles. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!